So, in this video, we will talk about strings. String is a data type used to represent a sequence of characters in programming language. It is used to store and manipulate text or character data. And strings can contain letters, digits, symbols, or white spaces. And in most programming languages, strings are typically enclosed in quotation marks, as you can see that either in single quotation marks or in double quotation marks. So if we are declaring a variable like in C sharp, we are using double quotation mark, or in Java, JavaScript, we use single quotation marks. And also, strings allow you to work with textual data and performs various operations on them, such as concatenation and extraction of substring, searching for a specific characters or patterns, and more. And it's important to note that specific syntax and available string operations may vary slightly depending on the programming language you are using. However, the basic concept of the strings as a data type for storing and manipulating textual data remains consistent across the most of the languages. So, uh, we have to see that is strings are primitive or non-primitive. So before we dig into that one, let me show you some of the difference between primitive and non-primitive data types. So here I have extracted some of the basic difference between them, and you can see that there are differences on the base of size, initialization, mutability, and operations, and I have also put some of the examples. So if we talk about primitive data types, so these are basic data types and these are predefined in the programming languages. And if we talk about size, usually occupied a fixed amount of memory determined by the data type, and it initialized directly by with a value, and these are immutable and cannot be modified once created. And limited set of operation defined specifically for each data type, as you know that these are predefined, so the function would be predefined for these, and these functions would be limited. And the examples of primitive data types are int, float, boolean, and char. And if we talk about non-primitive data types, non-primitive data types created by combining primitive or other non-primitive data types. Sizes can vary based on the size and complexity of the data structure. And initialization involves creating an instance of the data type using constructor, and these are mutable and modified after the creation. And you can add wide range of operations or method you can define in the specific implementations. So here are the some of the examples for non-primitive, like arrays, structure, classes, and strings. So as I mentioned, string is a non-primitive data type, but how it is non-primitive, let's talk about in the next slide. So in last slide, you have seen that some of the difference between primitive and non-primitive data types. So strings are non-primitive data types. Why? I have listed down some of the properties of the strings that matches with the non-primitive data type, like storage, stored as a reference, size. Size can vary based on the length of the string, initialization by assigning a sequence of character or using literals, and mutability. Strings are typically treated as immutable, cannot be modified once it's declared, and operations supports complex operations like concatenation, substring, extraction, and searching. And variable length can accommodate varying length of text, unlike fixed primitive types. And store as a reference, as we also mentioned, that rather than the data itself, and provide a range of method manipulating and working with text. So in our next video, I will show you the data type, array data type, there's subtypes of array data type, and we will also cover some practical examples.